Hello, my sunshine, and welcome to a new episode of the Hot Girl Morning Podcast. I'm so excited and honestly so grateful to have you here because, as in last week, we have hit 20,000 followers on Spotify, which is completely insane to me. And because of that special occasion, I decided that we're going to do something different today. It has been a long time since I last shared my story and really got into who I am, and I think I never did what I'm about to do today. Today I want to do a bit of a Q&A to give you more of an insight of who I am, what are my struggles, what has been going on in my life, and what are my dreams and everything in between. I have a couple of questions ready and we will go through them, and I will share with you today a little bit about my life. And as a special thank you for hitting 20,000 followers, I will share a special surprise by the end of today's episode, and everyone who wants this can access it, and I'm honestly super excited about that. But yeah, if you're new to this podcast, my name is Greta. I'm an accountability and empowerment coach, and on this podcast we talk about all things personal growth, mindfulness, self-love, manifesting your dreams, and becoming the best version of yourself. So if any of these topics sound interesting to you and you haven't yet, make sure to follow this podcast, rate it 5 stars if you really enjoyed, or maybe send it to a friend who might need to hear this today. And I feel like since this is such a special occasion, we have to do the tradition that we have started, 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, which is basically giving you a sign from the universe. I have this beautiful book in my hand, which is called Living with Joy, Keys to Personal Power and Spiritual Transformation from Sanaya Roman. And I'm going to open up a random page to give you a sign from the universe. This book is filled with affirmations and quotes and so much more. And recently I got a lot of messages of people really resonating with the messages that I'm giving. So I hope that this is it for you too. Okay, what we have today is a quote. Every single part of you has a gift for you and is there as your friend. There is no voice within you that does not have the intent to help you. A voice or a subpersonality that seems unhelpful may not have an accurate picture of what you want, or it may have been set up many years ago and is still operating from an old program. A part of you that experiences fear, for instance, may be trying to protect you from things it thinks might hurt you, even though you know now from a higher level of understanding that these same things cannot hurt you. Your journey in this lifetime is to bring all your parts up into your higher vision and purpose. Learn to love each of yourselves, for as you love them, you begin the process of uniting them with your higher self. This is beautiful because probably a lot of us can resonate that there's like sometimes these parts of ourselves that we actually dislike and where we really like harden ourselves, and there's like like the obvious good stuff about yourself, but also understanding that every part of you is like needs to be there is super powerful. Okay, I do not even want to waste any more time. I want to get into the Q&A. I hope you don't mind. I have my phone with me because I didn't write the questions on paper. So the first question that I have for myself, which is kind of weird because I'm asking just myself these questions. Well, how are you feeling right now? There's this thing where a lot of people, when you ask them like, how are you feeling? Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. Like, I'm not that type of person. And when I'm asking someone of how they're doing, I don't want to hear, yeah, I'm just fine, I'm good, I'm busy. I want to hear the real answer. So I will try my best to give you my real answer. How am I feeling today? Today I am feeling grateful. I feel grateful for the beautiful calls that I had so far today. I'm grateful for the support in my life. I am grateful for this beautiful place that I get to live in right now. I am grateful that I get to be here in Vienna right now. And at the same time, I also feel like I'm still settling in. And I'm still like getting used to things, and I need to find my groove. And I think I will probably talk about it more later on, but I'm doing a lot of travels. Like, I'm a digital nomad. Life is crazy. And sometimes always switching places is just like, it takes a lot of energy because you have to get used to things. So I feel like I'm still in that place of, I need to find my place, find my rituals, and just like find that rhythm within living here. So for sure, there's just a lot of things on my mind. But in general, I feel grateful. I feel excited for the friends that I get to see very soon. And I'm hopeful to see what's going to happen in the future. Okay, let's see. What do we have for question number 2? How did your past shape you into who you are today? Okay, that is actually quite a big question. How did your past shape you into who you are today? I think at this point, it is smart for me to give you a quick recap on my past so you can see it better. So basically, in my teens, I was going through a really hard time. I was dealing with bullying. I felt very shy. I remember as a young teenager, I wrote on all the notebooks I had everywhere that my biggest dream was to be normal. My biggest dream was to fit in, and my biggest dream was to have a best friend. And I always felt out of the box. I always felt different my whole life. I felt like I'm the alien and people are looking at me differently. And in my past, this was something that I really struggled with. And I tried my best to just fit in. I became very silent, very shy, very introverted. And it's always really interesting to me to talk to people who knew me back then and who see me now versus to talk about people who got to know me later on and don't see that version of myself anymore. So yeah, my teens were in that area quite difficult with finding friends, fitting in, and all these things. Little PSA, I'm from northern Italy. I come from a German-speaking part, and just a little bit on my background. So basically, my teens were quite hard, and then after high school, I moved to Vienna, which is the city that I'm actually in right now, and that is like 7 hours away with a train, more or less. And I would say this next chapter in my life was the chapter of me getting to know myself. And I think there's something so powerful about leaving your hometown to get to know yourself, because when you always spend the time with the same people, they see you in a specific way and you act a specific way. And to have the opportunity to get out of that life and to get to know yourself in a different way and to get to know what are your passions, what do you want to do with your life, is something that is super special. But I also completely understand that this is not something that everyone needs to experience or has the opportunity to experience. So being in Vienna was, of course, there were just so many things that were different. I finally found friends. I found friends where I felt empowered. I felt encouraged to be myself, which was a huge shift and just a huge change in my life. But this time was also quite difficult, where I have experienced for the first time in my life, I would say, a depressional phase. I felt really lost. Like, honestly, I felt really lost. And the thing with feeling lost and overwhelmed, the more you suppress and don't really handle the thing that is the reason for you feeling so lost, it only makes things worse. So what I'm really happy about is where I got to the point where I realized, okay, what's the reason behind it? And basically the internal realization I had, throughout these years, I have done so much internal work, learning to love myself, figuring out what I really want to do with my life. And I realized the reality that I was living was not aligned anymore with the life that I wanted to create for myself. So going to university and doing this type of life just felt wrong. And there's something within me I cannot do things that are against my values, where I know, okay, this is not the right thing. I cannot do it. I get sick if I try to do it. So I got to this point where I had kind of an idea of what I really wanted, but felt incredibly actually incapable of getting there. But I realized that doing this, just like going to this university, studying this because it is just what I'm supposed to do, was not the right choice, because I realized that going on with this studies, like, it's not going to get me to where I want. So basically what I studied first, when I got to Vienna, I started studying sociology. That is something that I never wanted to like finish. It was just, I had this thought in my mind. I was like, I want to understand society better to be able to change the world in a better way. So that was just in the beginning. I started with sociology, then I studied media management, and all while this was going on, I was working in a social business, which was something that gave me so much energy and so many friends. So all of that was going on, and I realized, okay, this is not the path for me. I want something different, but at the same time, I'm super scared. I had the beautiful encounter, like that boss that I had back then in that social business. He became my mentor, and he made me realize a lot of internal things and beliefs, and mainly the belief that I cannot, like, I basically didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in myself that I could be any more of what all the people were. At least to me, it felt like what they believe, what I can do. And it just created this thing of like, for years and years and years, I imagined this is the life that I get to live, and I cannot do anything outside of that. So all of that was going on. I decided to drop out of university, which was a huge step. This university was really expensive compared to Austria in general, because you basically don't pay for university. And I had like this job that only paid for university. So it was just a big decision. And then I decided to start going for my dream. I started working for a business and mindset mentor. I was her social media manager. She helped me overcome a lot of my internal beliefs. I became a social media manager, and then I got to the point where I realized, okay, this is not what I really want. Like, I have learned so much about like habits and goals and how to be more content with life. And I was the person people were like, my friends were asking about these types of things. I was the person who had like the overview and was able to like help them structure their goals. And just, there was so much passion behind this, where I realized, okay, I want to be able to help people. And this was in the beginning of 2022. This is also the time where I got started with the podcast, because I have done so much internal work, and I was like, okay, I'm going to say all the things that I wish my younger self knew. And this is how the podcast started. I never told anyone about it except my best friend for the first, I think, over half a year, until I felt courageous enough to like share it with the world. So at that same time, I was starting my business. I worked in the beginning, I just started as an accountability coach. So I don't know, if you wanted to write a book, I was I was helping you like to break down the goal and hold you accountable. But the work that I do right now goes way more also into identity work and so much more. So basically, I got started. I started traveling at the same time. I was in for a month in Greece with 2 other friends who were also working online. I fell in love with that type of life. I realized, okay, this is what I wanted to do. I moved out of my apartment in Vienna. I continued traveling. In between, I was at home and I fell in love. And then I had to stay at home for a bit, made my driver's license. Now I'm traveling again. So that's a bit of what has been going on. And since September 2024, I have been traveling with my partner together, like basically all of the time. We don't have like a fixed apartment that is our own, but we are like we have been in Vienna for 2 months, then we're like at home for a bit, then in Greece, then at home, then in Spain, and now we're in Vienna. And that's a bit of what was going on. Oh my God, there was so much more. I also had burnout after 1 year of having my business, because having your own business and starting it is something that is really intense, especially when you do not really know what rest means and to really like pause. There are so many more layers to it, but this is a bit about my past. And I think what shaped me most are exactly the hardest times. I think what shaped me most is first this time in my life where I got bullied, where I didn't fit in, and where I just tried my best to be cool and be cool. I always thought the reason I wasn't seen as cool was because I didn't have a phone for such a long time. And yeah, so this time I think is what shaped me a lot. And then the phase afterwards where I experienced this depressional phase of just feeling super lost, it also shaped me because it made me realize of what I really want in my life. And I think when I now look back into the last couple of years, I see that burnout shaped me so freaking much, because I used to be a bit, not just a bit, I used to be overanalyzer, overthinker, just like all the things that you would keep you away from being present. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect now and that I never feel anxious, but I feel so different in my life. I feel so much more calm and at peace, and I trust myself. I trust in myself. I trust the life that I'm going to build. I trust that no matter what's happening, I will be all right. And I think these 3 really hard phases were the things that shaped me most. And of course, there was so much more in between. But these hard times are often trying to tell you something. And I think it's important, instead of always trying to fix it and find a solution, is to listen what your body and mind is even telling you to do. Okay, this one was a really long answer, so let's move on to the next question. What does your life currently look like, and how does it feel to be here? I touched on this a little bit. So basically 4 or 5 days ago, I moved to Vienna. As you can see, I have this beautiful little apartment where we are currently living. The background just looks amazing. I'm in love. So my life currently looks like I have my online business where I do coaching. I have this podcast where I do podcast episodes, obviously. And I really enjoy right now getting settled in here in Vienna. We have a gym literally 1 or 2 minutes away, and it is super nice. We have one of the biggest parks of Vienna, like 5 minutes away, and a really beautiful river also really, really close by. So currently, my life looks like me living together with my partner. P.S. I don't think I have shared this with you, but I think 1 or 2 months before I met my partner, I made a list of everything I wanted in my partner. And 2 months after, I found the person who checked like the whole list, which is just insane. But moving on, basically, I live together with my partner. I'm here in Vienna. I work on my business. My life currently feels a little bit unstable because I feel like sometimes it's really easy to romanticize someone else. Oh my God, they're living as a digital nomad and like are in all these different places. But it's so important to also realize no matter where you are, you will always have struggles. So it's about finding the struggles that you're willing to work through. And in some ways, I'm currently craving stability, but in all honesty, I don't know where I want to live long term. So this is the life that I'm choosing right now. And right now I feel hopeful and curious what the future will bring. Let's see what we have as the next question. Okay, what sparks your joy and makes you feel like you? Okay, you have to know I'm a super multi-passionate person. So you know that there are like people out there who had this passion like as a child to maybe like ice skate, and all they want to do is become an ice skater, and they go to college, do that, and go to the Olympics. And that's not me. I'm not that type of person who has like this one interest and this is the thing that I want to do forever and ever, and it's only this one thing. I'm a person who loves so many freaking different things, and I think that is also the beautiful part about having your business. There are like so many layers to this. So what are the things that currently spark my joy? in the beginning of the year, I started crocheting. So crocheting is for sure on the list. I love nature. I love yoga. I love meditations. I love deep conversations with friends. I love cooking. Like I love cooking, and I would say like I'm a really good cook. And me being Italian also, like that just elevates the cooking. At least it feels like to me. I love to play the piano or ukulele and sing. I love listening to audiobooks. I'm obsessed with Formula One. Like I have seen every race for the past 4 or 5 years. Like I love Formula One, and it doesn't really make sense with any other interests I have, but I'm just so excited. Like I love it. I love in general learning the behind the scenes of things, like learning how like things really work in the background. Like I have, even when I was like 18, 19, I want to become a movie director, and I worked on a movie set, like in the background. Like I did all these things, like background stuff really interests me. And I have currently an obsession with watching either Say Yes to the Dress or something about like documentaries about plane crashes and like how they figured out what was the reason why the plane crashed. I don't know. So as you can tell, I have a lot of different interests, and I love also spiritual type of stuff. So I'm just like, I'm very open. Oh my God, color analysis. So I feel like all these things just make me feel like me, and it's so beautiful once you take away the pressure of feeling like you have to like have this one hobby and always become better, but you can just like have all these things that interest you and just figure out, okay, what you really want to do. And I think one of the coolest parts is, I also love photography. One of the coolest parts about it is that my job partly gets to be my hobby. I love to record podcast episodes, and I think one of the things that I just love most is having coaching clients and coaching people. That's the thing. Like seeing how I get to transform my life is like really, really special to me. And in general, I'm also like with my values, I'm very passionate. I'm very passionate about justice in the world and about, in general, like sustainability and all these things, like everything that you can imagine. Like I want the world to be a safer, better, and more peaceful place. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What are you most proud of about yourself right now? I am most proud of listening to myself and following my inner voice instead of just doing the thing that I'm supposed to, but really like doing the thing that I know is right for me. And I think I can see that pattern now looking through all like the hard stuff that I went through, and I'm still like figuring things out. I'm still like in the middle of it, but I'm really proud of myself that I kept going and that I trust myself enough to listen to that voice. Okay, we only have 2 questions left, so bear with me. What are you dreaming of for your future? I think what I want for my future is to also have in-person things that I do with people. It is beautiful to be able to talk to you, but I would love to get people together, like in different type of spaces. Okay, maybe also partly online, but I would love in the future to host retreats, to host events, to make people realize how beautiful they are and how capable, and just help you recognize your vision in life. So that is something that I dream about. I don't want to be the solo retreat host. Like I would like to do this with someone else and like have a team. So that is something that I'm dreaming about. I'm also dreaming about getting you into like, I want to be able to connect more to you. I want to be able to help you and have conversations. So that is also a big dream. And to find a home for myself. Because right now it's really beautiful to be in so many different places, but I'd love also to have that feeling of arriving and coming home. And I'm excited to when that time will be. Right now I'm just like still figuring it out. And I think the things that I'm always dreaming about is more like a feeling. And the beautiful thing is I get to feel these feelings already right now. I'm dreaming of a life that feels impactful, that feels full of gratitude, alignment, that feels free, that feels connected and calm, and that is like on my own terms, if that makes sense. So that's what I am dreaming about. Now to the last question. If you could share one message with the world, what would it be? You're capable of so much more than you can imagine. And I think sometimes we forget to see all the things that we ever overcame, all the hardships that we survived. And I hope that you realize that you are so much more capable. And that even though maybe right now your dream or what you want feels super far away, that you have everything within you to create that reality for yourself. It is about taking step by step and to learn to enjoy the process of getting there. And instead of being so hard on yourself for decisions you made in your past or the way you used to live, show up with more curiosity of, okay, what is this trying to teach me? And I think when more people learn to follow their spark and do the thing that really like makes them feel like them, I think then we get to create a more beautiful world. And I think one of the most beautiful things is when you get to see a ripple effect, or when you just feel this ripple effect of positive things happening. And I think once more people do the thing that they really love to do, honestly, like this creates a ripple effect, because you have so many people around you that are inspired by you and you doing your thing and setting the boundaries and creating the life that you love. Like that is an inspiration to so many around you. And imagine the 20,000 people of us, like we're all doing this. Like how powerful would that be? Because it can sometimes feel like you alone don't have power, but what if you finally realize that you have power, like you have power, and by you inspiring others, they will inspire others, and it just goes on and on and on. So I think that's the message that I want to share with you. And now onto the surprise that I have. I want to invite you, like literally you who are listening to this right now. I am creating a free group, at least for now, a group for anyone who wants to join. It will be over on WhatsApp, and once a month we will have a masterclass together. So once a month we will be in a call together. We will talk about all the things of like working on your identity, monthly reflection, any of that type of stuff. If there's anything on your mind, you can ask it. But it will be such a beautiful get together of empowering, supportive people. And this call will be every first Thursday of the month. We will still figure out the time, because I know that people who listen to me are mostly on different time zones. So basically what I'm creating is like a monthly masterclass that is accompanied with a beautiful WhatsApp group that we can use for empowerment and support, where I will send you reminders and I will send you visualizations, but it will not be a group where you will be spammed and you will see like 200 new messages every single day. That's not what I want for you. But I want for you that this group is like kind of a support on your journey and a support within yourself, like with everything that you're experiencing, and that this gets to be a way for you to ask questions, to be curious, to help others, and for us to get together. So if you want to be part of that group, it would mean the world to me. Like I would be so excited to have you in there. For anyone who sends me a message by the 24th of July, you will be able to get into this group for free for 3 months. I don't know what I'm going to do pricing wise in the future, but if you want to be part of it, I would love to have you there. The only thing that you have to make sure, well, two things. You, number one, should follow my podcast, and number two, you have to message me over on Instagram at greta.webhofer at greta.webhofer, and just message me there, supportive bestie. And once I get that message, I know what's going on, and you will be added to this group. I'm really, really excited about this. Again, you will find also all the information down in the show notes. You can click right there to get to my Instagram, but I would love to have you in there. I would love to create this space because 20,000 people is like a whole lot of people, and I don't want to have like 20,000 people, or I don't need to have 20,000 people like in that group, but I want the people who are like really passionate about the changes that they want to make in their lives, that we get together and that we have a space where we talk about self-love, where we talk about everything that is going on in our lives, and where we have just like this space of support and empowerment. And again, I would love to have you here. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I would love to get to know you better. Like, write a comment down below, give me a fun fact about yourself, maybe send a question. If you have a question about me and my life, ask it there. I would love to stay in contact with you. But thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.